A single cracked phone screen, one exhausted retail employee, and a homeless man everyone else refused to look at were about to expose a truth that would leave an entire company speechless. Less than 24 hours after she knelt on the sidewalk to help the stranger everyone ignored, luxury cars rolled into the company's headquarters, lawyers stepped out carrying contracts worth billions, and the same homeless man walked through the front doors, not to ask for help, but to buy the entire company. The people who had mocked him froze in disbelief, while the woman who had shown him simple kindness discovered that compassion can open doors no amount of money ever could. If you believe kindness still matters, forgiveness changes lives, hope deserves another chance, and one small act can transform someone's future, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to our channel so our community can continue spreading stories that remind the world goodness still exists. Harper Ellison had never imagined her life would become extraordinary. At 27, she worked as a customer service specialist for one of the largest electronics retailers in the city. Every morning she arrived before the doors opened, straightened displays, answered endless complaints, and smiled through difficult conversations because she needed every hour of work she could get. Her father had suffered a stroke 2 years earlier, leaving him unable to return to his construction job, while her younger sister, Claire, had just begun nursing school. Harper quietly became the person holding her family together, paying bills that always seemed larger than her paycheck and sacrificing every luxury without ever complaining. Her coworkers often wondered why she remained cheerful despite carrying so much responsibility. The truth was simple. Harper had learned from her late mother that kindness cost nothing, even when life demanded everything. That Tuesday afternoon, the summer sun reflected across the pavement outside the store as customers hurried through the busy shopping district. Near the entrance sat a man wearing worn-out clothes and holding an old smartphone with a shattered screen. Most pedestrians looked away before their eyes could meet his. Some assumed he wanted money. Others crossed the street entirely. The man wasn't asking anyone for anything. He simply stared at the broken phone with quiet frustration. Harper noticed him during her lunch break. Instead of rushing past, she sat beside him on the public bench. She offered him the sandwich she had packed for herself, but he politely declined with a grateful smile. Then she noticed the phone in his hands. The charging port was clogged with dust and tiny fibers. The screen protector had cracked so badly that it barely responded to touch. Harper asked if she could take a look. Using nothing more than a small cleaning tool from her keychain and a replacement screen protector she had purchased months earlier but never used, she carefully cleaned the charging port, removed the shattered protector, restarted the device, and restored its responsiveness. The phone lit up perfectly. The man stared at the screen as though she had returned something far more valuable than technology. He thanked her sincerely. She simply smiled and returned to work before her lunch break ended. She never asked his name. She never expected to see him again. Inside the store, however, someone had been watching. Her supervisor, Cedric Holt, had witnessed the entire interaction through the front window. Instead of praising Harper's compassion, he criticized her for spending company break time helping someone who wasn't worth the effort. Harper apologized for returning 2 minutes late but refused to apologize for helping another human being. Cedric shook his head. He believed success belonged only to people who earned it. Compassion, in his opinion, was bad for business. Harper quietly returned to assisting customers. The following morning began like every other. Employees gathered for the weekly company meeting. Rumors spread that a mysterious investor had scheduled an emergency visit. Nobody knew why. Managers rushed through preparation, polishing conference tables and rehearsing presentations. Around 11 o'clock, several black vehicles arrived outside headquarters. Lawyers, financial advisors, corporate executives. Everyone assumed a famous billionaire would emerge wearing an expensive suit. Instead, the same homeless man Harper had helped the previous afternoon stepped calmly out of the first vehicle. He was freshly shaved. His hair had been neatly cut. His clothes were elegant but simple. The entire lobby fell silent. Cedric laughed nervously, assuming security had made an embarrassing mistake. Security didn't move. Instead, they welcomed the man respectfully. The company's chairman personally walked downstairs to greet him. Confusion spread across every employee's face. Harper recognized him immediately. Before she could process what was happening, the chairman announced extraordinary news. The visitor was Alastair Rowan, founder of one of Europe's largest technology investment groups. Hours earlier, his company had legally purchased a controlling share of the electronics retailer. Effective immediately, ownership had changed. The homeless man now owned the company. Shock swept across the building. Cedric's confident smile disappeared. Whispers filled every hallway. How could one of the world's wealthiest investors have been sitting outside the store dressed like a homeless man? The answer surprised everyone. For years Alastair had quietly traveled without publicity, visiting businesses anonymously to observe how ordinary people treated strangers when they believed nobody important was watching. Wealth could purchase reports, consultants, and market research, but it could never buy genuine character. His appearance was intentional. His phone had genuinely stopped working. Everyone else ignored him. Only Harper stopped. She didn't recognize a billionaire. She recognized a person. Alastair spent the afternoon meeting department leaders. Instead of asking only about profits, he requested employee retention records, customer satisfaction reports, staff well-being surveys, and promotion histories. The numbers revealed something disturbing. The company generated impressive revenue while employees experienced record burnout. Customer complaints had increased. Staff turnover reached its highest level in a decade. Managers rewarded sales but ignored compassion. Alastair understood immediately. The company's greatest weakness wasn't financial. It was cultural. Near the end of the meeting, he requested Harper's personnel file. Executives assumed she had made some serious mistake. Instead, Alastair quietly read through years of performance reviews. Every evaluation praised her patience, honesty, and willingness to help others. Yet despite consistently outstanding feedback, she had never received a promotion. The explanation was painfully simple. She focused more on solving customer problems than meeting aggressive sales targets. Compassion had become invisible on performance reports. Alastair decided that would change. The following week every employee attended a company-wide gathering. Many expected announcements about restructuring or layoffs. Instead, Alastair shared a story. Without mentioning Harper by name at first, he described sitting outside one of the stores with a broken phone while hundreds of people passed without making eye contact. He explained that only one employee had stopped. She hadn't asked whether helping him would benefit her career. She hadn't considered his appearance. She simply chose kindness. Then Alastair invited Harper onto the stage. She looked overwhelmed. The applause began softly before growing louder until every employee stood. Some clapped because they admired her. Others clapped because they suddenly realized how often they had walked past people without seeing them. Alastair announced Harper's promotion to Director of Customer Experience and Community Relations. The room erupted once again. Harper accepted the role with tears in her eyes, not because of the title but because someone had recognized the values her mother had taught her long ago. Cedric watched silently from the back of the room. His own position wasn't eliminated. Instead, Alastair asked him to remain. Many expected immediate punishment. That wasn't Alastair's way. He believed real leadership transformed people rather than simply replacing them. Cedric was required to attend every employee development program alongside new managers. He volunteered at community outreach events. He listened to customer stories instead of sales reports. At first he participated reluctantly. Slowly, something changed. He met families struggling to afford basic technology for their children's education. He spoke with elderly customers who simply wanted patience instead of pressure. He remembered why he had entered retail decades earlier before promotions and targets had hardened his perspective. One afternoon Cedric quietly apologized to Harper. He admitted he had mistaken kindness for weakness. Harper accepted his apology without hesitation. Forgiveness, she believed, only mattered when it was genuine. Months passed. The company transformed. Sales actually increased because customers felt respected instead of rushed. Employee turnover dropped dramatically. New training focused on empathy alongside product knowledge. Break rooms offered free meals. Emergency family leave expanded. Community repair events allowed people to bring damaged devices regardless of their ability to pay. Harper led every initiative with quiet humility. She never forgot the afternoon everything changed because of a broken phone. Meanwhile, Alastair continued visiting stores anonymously. Sometimes he dressed like an ordinary customer. Sometimes he simply observed from nearby cafes. His purpose remained the same. Money could build businesses. Character built legacies. One bright autumn afternoon Harper visited her father after work. He had regained enough strength to walk short distances with assistance. Together they sat on a park bench watching children laugh while colorful leaves drifted across the grass. Her father smiled proudly as she described the company's transformation. He reminded her that success wasn't measured by promotions or wealth but by how many lives became better because someone chose compassion over convenience. Those words stayed with her. Inspired by everything she had experienced, Harper launched an employee volunteer program that repaired phones, tablets, and laptops for low-income families, elderly residents, and students preparing for school. What began with 20 volunteers grew into hundreds. Thousands of devices found new life. Children completed homework online. Grandparents spoke with distant grandchildren. Job seekers attended virtual interviews. Entire communities benefited from one simple decision made on a sunny afternoon. Journalists eventually discovered the remarkable story behind the company's cultural transformation. Articles praised innovative leadership, but Alastair consistently redirected attention toward Harper. He insisted the real investment that changed everything wasn't measured in shares or contracts. It was measured in humanity. Years later, a bronze plaque stood inside the company's headquarters. Visitors often paused to read the inscription. It simply said that every great business begins by remembering that every customer, every employee, and every stranger deserves dignity. No mention of billion-pound acquisitions. No celebration of financial success. Only a reminder that kindness always creates returns impossible to calculate. Harper often walked past that plaque on her way to work. She never saw it as recognition. She saw it as a responsibility. Every morning she reminded herself that someone entering the building might be carrying invisible burdens just as she once had. A smile. A few minutes of patience. A willingness to help. Sometimes those were the greatest gifts anyone could receive. Alastair eventually retired from daily leadership, but before stepping away he told the board that the company's future depended not on finding the smartest executive in the room but on finding the kindest one. The board followed that advice, and the company continued growing while remaining known as one of the most compassionate employers in the country. Before this story comes to an end, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a meaningful comment and tell us, have you ever helped someone without expecting anything in return, or has a stranger's kindness changed your life forever? Your story might inspire someone reading the comments today. As the afternoon sunlight poured through the headquarters glass entrance, Harper smiled at a young employee who had stopped to help an elderly customer carry a heavy shopping bag to the car. She realized kindness had become part of the company's identity. It spread quietly from one person to another, asking for nothing but leaving everything better than it found it. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Never underestimate the power of a small act of compassion, because the person you choose to help today may never change your bank account, but they might change your life forever.